Greetings, everybody. In this week's review will be To Hell and Back, starring of course Audie Murphy as Audie Murphy. And what was his magnum opus of films, given it though being the most decorated soldier in American history of World War II, and a semi-career as a B actor after the war, where he starred in films such as this, and alongside, and of course with movies like Red Badge of Courage, Kansas Raiders, Hell Bent for Lover, No Name on the Bullet, Night Passage. But overall, for the man from Kingston, Texas, and the most decorated soldier of American history. But To Hell and Back has got to be one of the most epic war movies ever. I mean, it tells the true story from Audie Murphy from 12 years old to the war, where he's in the intro by General Walter Smith at the beginning of the movie, which of course has like a little bit when it starts dealing so and so about the impact he's made. And of course Murphy was such a total badass. I mean, with a film like this, and I gotta think, if the MCU was around in the 1960s or the 50s, he would have been perfect for Captain America. Although I've read on Internet Movie Database that he was almost a bad guy for Dirty Harry, but of course that was shortly before his death in a plane crash in 1971. And of course, with Murphy having the most visited grave, second to President Kennedy. But overall, the movie was very excellent, alongside side characters like Kovacs Johnson, and some other ones I could remember side characters. Some of which were played by Jack Kelly, who was best known as Bart Maverick from the series Maverick, and of course Denver Powell, best known as Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard, among other stuff like Briscoe Darling and Andy and Frank Hammer and Bonnie and Clyde. That's for another review. But overall, excellent action for an excellent film. I mean, you got some which I doubt's real accurate and all, like the whole deal with him, the scene where he's on the boat and was acting sergeant. I'm not sure if that part was true, but it could have been acting sergeant part. But given that when the war started, he was turned down by. He originally wanted to be a Marine, but he was turned down and by the Marines, then the Navy, almost rejected by the Army, but he pushed on. I mean, they were reluctant to let him go out in the front, but he took a stand and made it, and of course became the ultimate badass he was known as today, with at least 27 decorations throughout his career, most of which was before the age of 19, which of course he enlisted at 17 by recommendation of a guardian, and then racked up the war until racked up body count and medals throughout the war. There were some excellent battle scenes, like especially in the Italian campaign, and where he's just very going from M to M1 Garand to the Thompson throughout the movie. Even the whole climax action scene of where he's single-handedly takes down tanks. Even run up on top of a tank, just mowing Nazis down with his Tommy gun. And of course, a lot of side bits, like at the beginning where he's in Casablanca, and he's in it. I'm not sure how accurate that scene was, but when he's expecting the troops and all, because they read on the foreman who was old guy soldier, high soldier, talking about how he's, oh, you were acting sergeant on the plane, and I'm just on the boat, and of course he's inspecting. He takes a jab at that soldier who just tries to put some dirt in his BAR, and he was just like, no wonder he got all those purple hearts. Yeah, it was kind of fitting I'd pick today to review To Hell and Back, since today is Veterans Day. 11/5 or the 11th month was when World War One ended. Although this is a World War II movie, but had to lay that out there. And of course, this has got to be a 5 out of 5 masterpiece. I mean, it's very rare that you see actors play themselves in movies. Like I say, other ones I can think of that did it was Jackie Robinson and Jackie Robinson's Story, and Richard Petty did a movie at one point, but where he played himself. But yeah, even as much as I like NASCAR, that's a tough one to review. And for other reviews, of course. But To Hell and Back is a highly must recommend for history buffs and fans of war movies period, and should have been regarded as one of the best war movies of all time. Had just actually told of the most decorated soldier in World War II, and how he whooped a lot of Nazi ass. And of course, I've already mentioned with a lot of with the action with the M1 Garand and all, but like I say, Audie Murphy did an excellent job, which wasn't no challenge playing himself, although he was really reluctant to do it because of given how he lived all for the war, and of course not something that, of course, there have been some reluctance. Yeah, it was almost, he almost tried to get Tony Curtis to play him in the movie, but the studio was like, it's got to be Murphy or not. And I'm surprised James Arness wasn't in the film, given how he was really in the 3rd Infantry alongside Murphy. And I meant the 3rd Infantry, not 3rd Army, which was Patton's group. Although, I'm surprised they didn't have somebody just play Patton even for a cameo. But overall, a very excellent film. A must recommend. And of course, happy Veterans Day. Enjoy.